Hi everybody, it's only me, Katie here, with another episode of the Prospering podcast. For those that don't know me, my name is Katie Oman. I am the events director for the company, but I also have the honour and the privilege of running this podcast and speaking to some phenomenal people who inspire us, motivate us, and just have the best stories. And I love a good story. Who doesn't love a good story, right? And we've spoken to some amazing people so far, so if you've not had a chance to go and have a look at the playlist, please do. But we have another wonderful guest today. And as soon as I met this woman, I was like, I have to get her on the podcast because her story is phenomenal. What she's trying to do is phenomenal. And I know you're going to come away from this being so inspired. So let me introduce her, give her a proper introduction because to be fair. So Mandy Shaw, Mandy, give us a wave. There you go, she's very well trained. And she is doing a wonderful thing called Rope for Hope. So Rope for Hope is to raise funds for Cancer Research UK through an national and international skipping event that unites communities to help beat cancer. It is inspired by her own personal fitness journey. She has got when we had our first chat, I was just blown away. And it made me, I haven't skipped since I was 10, maybe 11. And I was like, I want to go and do that. Sounds awesome. So I'm so happy to have this conversation today. And I know it's going to be phenomenal. So Mandy, thank you so much for doing this with me, sweetheart. You're an absolute star. How are you doing today?
Yes, I'm good. I'm excited to chat with you, to share the news, to spread the joy, and hopefully pass on some nuggets of knowledge, inspire a few people to pick up a rope and get involved. That would be amazing.
Definitely. So how did you even start this? I it seems so far from my brain to go this and this, let's bring them together. So I know I said it was inspired by your own personal fitness journey, but give us the story, give us the background. How did this even begin?
Okay, so I've start with the sad bit first. I've sadly lost several members of my family to various forms of cancer, not least of which was my dear mum about 5 years ago. So that's my incentive. That's why I keep chomping at the bait, and that's why even when I have to refocus, or it feels like you're walking through treacle, as many of your listeners will probably relate to. Working in business and enterprise is not. It's not a walk in the park. It's a walk through treacle that gets very sticky and threatens to hold you back every now and again. So yeah, there's my emotional incentive. But in October 23, so quite recently, only a couple of years ago, I saw a thing come up on Facebook for Cancer Research UK 100 skips a day challenge. You sign up, you get your skipping rope, and you get your friends and family to sponsor you and raise money for cancer research. I thought, great. How hard can that be? I thought 100 skips a day. All you've got to do is jump up and down like this, basic bounce. I later found that move is called basic bounce. So I signed up, got my rope, and on the 1st of October 2023, went out in the garden and skipped about 20 skips, and then I had to go and sit down for 10 minutes. I didn't realise how unfit I was. But, the incentive was there. I was videoing myself. They set it up so that you can put your videos out on the group chat if you want to, on the group Facebook page that they set up. So that's what I did. I paused the video, had to sit down, came back, finished off the 100 skips about 10 minutes later. And I put that video up on the Cancer Research official page. And I got about over 80 views in the first 10 minutes of putting that up. And the encouragement that came out, the comments of you go girl, you can do it. What an inspiration, all these kind of positive affirmations. And that was how the group was through the whole of the challenge.
Yeah.
So by the 13th of October of that month, it had taken me 2 weeks of practicing 100 skips a day to be able to skip 100 non-stop. And I was able to do that within a fortnight. So you just have a little 10-minute thing every day, and you really can quickly build yourself up. And that day was a bit of a double-edged sword for me, because actually it was my first 100 non-stop. But second of all, it was the anniversary of my mum's passing.
Wow.
So luckily the video ran out of battery. Otherwise you'd have got me blabbering all over the internet going, I'm doing this in the memory of my mum, and I've just done my first 100. And yeah, it was a bit of an emotional day. So and that was my inspiration, really. I kind of fell in love not only with fundraising for an excellent cause that had obviously touched my life anyway, but actually I saw a real improvement in my own personal fitness, and that's where the fitness journey hook comes in. So over the course of doing that challenge, and then subsequently I've done about 4 or 5 of those over the last couple of years, raising over £1,000 in my own right, actually, doing those challenges.
Amazing.
And I lost nearly a stone in weight and made a few dietary kind of lifestyle changes, but I didn't go on a diet. And I can run up the road now after the kids that I look after and actually not be out of breath. I can lift my grandchild up and not be aching for 2 days afterwards. So overall, your impact on your own personal fitness just from skipping 5-10 minutes a day, it's massive. It really can make a big improvement to you. So how do I get from that to trying to put together and lead a international and national skipping event? Okay, so after one of these challenges, I was just literally pondering, life one evening, and a thought popped into my head. I wonder if there's a Guinness World Record for skipping. So, you pick up your phone and you Google it, and turns out there are several that you can try. So I thought, wouldn't it be fabulous if all of these people that have taken part in the 100 skips a day challenges were able to actually join together and attempt one of these world records, and at the same time raise a ton load of money for Cancer Research UK.
Yeah.
So I went back to Cancer Research UK because I'd run a couple of quizzes as well and raised a few extra pounds there. And yeah, they fell over themselves to back the idea. And so that's what we've been working on for about 18 months or so. We held our inaugural event last September, 30th September 25. And yeah, we've raised another £1,000 through that event. And we had a base venue in London where we had several people coming in person, but we also had quite a large contingent dialing in online.
Yeah.
They came from various places across the UK, Australia and the USA. These people were staying up till 10 o'clock at night or getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, because of the time difference. So, and that's where we are. We're now planning our 2026 escapades, 12th of September this year, still a Saturday. From midday onwards is when the event is going to start.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can join in on so many levels, and it doesn't matter if you're abroad or you can't get to a venue, you can still dial in and take part.
I love that. And and we'll talk more about that towards the end, because it's so inspiring. And I think that there is something that we can all do. Whoever's watching this, like you say, it's a doable task. It's not
Absolutely.
like doing an Ironman or whatever. It's skipping. So yeah, in essence, we'll chat more about that. But what I love about this story is you saw a problem, if you like. You saw an issue, and regardless of how you got there, you saw the issue and you took action steps to do something about it, which is so inspiring, because so many of us, especially, more so than ever, we are an information age, and we have access to more information than we've ever had, more than our brains can probably hold and process, I think, regardless. And we are bombarded with issues and problems all the time. And I think it's very easy to feel disempowered and to feel like, what can I do? I'm only one person. And to listen to your story and go, actually, there's always something we can do, right? And it may feel quite small, or it may feel a little bit out of the box, but the fact that you started with this and you've now built up into this, I think that's so inspirational, Mandy. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, thank you. I'm just little old me sitting in a village in South Norfolk, so I don't feel like I'm doing anything particularly special, to be honest with you. I'm just following a passion and doing something in memory of people that I love and I've lost. And the scary statistic about cancer is that at least 1 in 2 of us are going to be touched by this disease in some shape or form in our lifetime. And what if that was me? What if that's my daughter? What's that my granddaughter, my husband, my sister? You want to feel like you've played even a small part. But if we have 1,000, 2,000 people doing their small part, that's going to make a massive difference. And that is...
People forget that bit. Sorry to interrupt. People forget that bit all the time. They think that it's like, to make a difference, you have to go like the big, massive things. I have to raise millions. Of course, Cancer Research would love millions of pounds. I'm not going to say no to it. But that consistent effort. And if everybody watching this, listening to this, it is smaller parts of the whole adds up to big differences, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And that's what makes this event so scalable, if you like, to use a kind of business terminology, is that, we can make a little bit of money if 5 people take part. But if 1,000 people do the same thing that those 5 did, then that's easily scalable. It really is. And the model we've already proven by doing our event in September. So the model is there, the model is proven, and it's easily transferable to almost any situation, to be honest with you. You can be an individual in your back garden. As long as you've got an internet connection and your phone set up, you can dial in and still be part of the event. You can be a corporate with a staff room and 10 people skipping together in their lunch hour. As long as you're on a video and you can connect to the main event, you can still take part. So I keep saying to people, the idea is so simple, people are making it complex, and it really isn't.
I think that there's sometimes that feeling, especially more so than ever perhaps, that it's too easy and it's too good to be true. What's the catch, right? Everyone's become very suspicious and very mistrusting. So we're looking at the downside of things. We're waiting for to be caught out. It's like, oh yeah, okay, but you're going to a registration fee, aren't you? Or I'm going to have to commit to, or these sponsorship things. Oh, I'm going to have to get like thousands of pounds worth of sponsorship. And people are looking for the catch all the time.
Yeah. Well, there is a registration fee, but it's only £6.
That's the difference. That's what I'm saying. People are waiting for like, oh, well, it's again, it's too good to be true. There's got to be something that's going to hurt me. So I can't do it because X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. In actual fact, if you think about it, the complete opposite is true. Because if there are, you can just Google the jump rope community and dozens and dozens and dozens of people will come up. People much more skilled than I am at skipping. But the thing is, to take part in this event, all you need to do is what you used to do at school.
Yeah.
Boing, 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 boing.
Yeah, it's not the ones with all this.
No, I mean, I can do a little bit of that. I'm not going to lie. I've learned a few tricks, and if you follow the links through from our website, you'll see some of my Instagram posts. And but there was a time, like I said, 18 months, 2 years ago, where I couldn't swing the rope more than 20 times without getting out of breath. My personal best, and I've not beaten it, good 6 or 8 months or so, was over 400 skips in 3 minutes.
Wow.
Non-stop.
Wow.
I've not done it since.
I haven't done it. That was in my life, and that's amazing.
Yeah, and that was, I was impressed with that. That was a good speed, and I just kept going till it caught on my foot. I just kept going.
I love that. So, I mean, you mentioned that people think it's almost too easy, right? And it's too simple and trying to overcomplicate the model. Is there any other? Because I'm just thinking, again, this is obviously ProspHER, and we talk a lot to professional people, and of course, there's a thing here about making it a business, right? But there's also, I think, we have this social need to help other people. And I think a lot of people think about setting up charities or doing charity work. So is there any other challenges that you found so far on this journey?
The biggest challenge that I faced, and where I had to make a complete refocus of the event, was probably mid-year last year, when we had like 2 or 3 months left to go before the big event. And I was very clearly focused on the fact that I wanted to achieve a Guinness World Record. I wanted to bring a skipping world record to the UK with all the feel-good factor and positive publicity that would hopefully bring, and at the same time make a ton load of money, as I keep saying, for the charity. But the the adjudication fees, sorry, the word escaped me for a minute. The adjudication fees for an official Guinness record is thousands of pounds. And the only way we could have done that is if we'd have engaged with a major sponsor. Now, despite my best efforts, because the event was basically unknown, it was very difficult to engage with the corporate world and say, hey, can you spare, 10, 15, 20,000 pounds to help us bring this to the UK? Just wasn't happening. So like a toddler who doesn't get their own way and they can't wait, I was like, oh, all right then, well, we won't go for a world record then. But in the end, that actually freed us up immensely, because going for something official like a Guinness World Record, as you can imagine, there are dozens of rules and regulations and processes that we would have had to have implemented for them to adjudicate it and award the record to us. So when we kind of, if you like, freed ourselves from that regulation, we still model the event on those rules and regulations and guidelines, but we can also kind of make it our own, if you like, where instead of an individual being on a mobile screen, you can have your group on a mobile screen and then still dial in and still be part of the big event. As and when we can have the funds and the backing to go for an official record, then we would have to revisit those rules and make sure we comply 100%. But that was, I think, my biggest challenge personally as the kind of leader of the event, to refocus and realign, but still have a good outcome and raise funds for cancer research, because that is what's at the core of the event. If we can get a Guinness World Record and all the feel-good factor and benefits that come with that, then that's great. That is a massive bonus, but that's not actually what the event is ultimately about. So I think that was my biggest challenge of the project so far.
What an amazing lesson as well, because regardless of anybody watching this, regardless of where you're at in your life and your journey, I think one of the things that trips us up in life is ourselves. And like the biggest thing in life is not necessarily, I mean, we could all do with a bit more money and a bit more time. Yes, of course we could. But actually, the biggest thing in life that trips us up is ourselves.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
One of the key things, as you just said, is, I mean, obviously we're talking about skipping, but here, what I hear is you wanted to run when you hadn't even really learned how to walk.
Yeah, well, I don't think I was even crawling, to be honest with you. If you want that kind of, child development analogy, we weren't even crawling. It was just this massive. I mean, the thing is, though, Katie, everybody that I spoke to, and I did speak to some corporates, and I spoke to some gym leaders, and I spoke to business executives in Scotland. I went to a big event in London with cancer research. Everybody has told me that it's a great idea. Yeah. Everybody has said this is a spark waiting to turn into a fire, you know. But when you say to them, will you help me? They're like, no.
Yeah.
No, it's a great idea, Mandy. You carry on, you know, come back to me in 6 months' time and we'll talk again. So, you know, it has been a real test of resilience, tenacity, of not giving up, because that strong connection of doing this in the memory of other people and raising money to help people in the future, that was kind of the core that kept me going, if you like.
And you've got to have that, right? You've got to have your why. You've got to have your passion. You've got to have your drive. Because, I mean, regardless, again, whether you are somebody watching this who's in business, or you are looking to start a business, or maybe you're a creative person, or whatever it is, the path, and I've learned this on my journey, and it's been a lesson that I haven't really wanted to learn. Again, like you, I've had to tantrum at times. We want the path to be like this, dead smooth, on the upward trajectory, and we keep going and we reach the top and we're a success. That's not how life goes. The path's like this. Right, and there are times,
and sometimes it's forwards and then backwards.
Absolutely, you know, and you're going to drive yourself dizzy and crazy, because you sometimes you're not going to know whether you've been, you're meeting yourself on the way back, what's going on, right? But ultimately, it is, if you don't have the passion and the drive, when you get knocked, when you get disappointed, when you get rejected, when things don't go well, you just go, oh, it doesn't matter. Obviously, that was proof that I'm not meant to do it then. Whereas, like, you put the drive, you're like, remember why I'm doing this.
Yes, absolutely. And I've got to make a little shout out here to one of our current collaborators, a lovely guy called Coach Chris. He runs a company called the Jump Rope Company. So there's your link. And he, in effect, helped us to actually save last year's event, because up until that point, we didn't really have much success corporate contact wise, because we're a little voice and we're an unknown. We didn't have a venue, had no idea about getting some music that people could learn to skip to because it had a good rhythm. Went in one phone call with Chris, and an hour later we had a venue, we had a piece of music, we had a sign-up process, and we work, and we're still working very closely with Coach Chris for the 2026 event. But again, for your listeners and anybody tuning into this, just one conversation can make a difference, and it might be the next conversation that you have. If you don't have that conversation, you're never going to know what's going to come out of it. And somebody else, much wiser than me, also once said, everything is worth a cup of coffee, the price of a cup of coffee. Meet up, have a cup of coffee, talk about your ideas, because if they can't help you, they might know somebody that can.
Absolutely.
And then you've got somebody endorsing your idea and passing it on to somebody else.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not a fan of the whole, I don't know, it's the term networking. To me, it's just a personal thing. It feels very patriarchal, so I always get a bit like, ugh. Well, I just like, just have a chat, you know, without any kind of expectation, without any pressure. Because, like you say, you never know where conversations can go. And absolutely, if that person can't or won't help you, and even if it's not in the moment, they may not say, I can't help you, but I know someone. That conversation, it's amazing. I've had people circle back to me 2 years later, going, you remember that we had that chat? And I'm like, and now they're ready, or now they know someone. You never know where things will lead. And it's just conversation and connection, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it really is. It goes back to the old saying, doesn't it? It's not necessarily what you know, it's who you know, and where those conversations can lead. And I tell you the other thing that drives me, again, I think this goes back to toddler tantrums. If somebody says, oh, I don't think you can do that, Mandy, it's too hard. It's too hard. I'd be like, my husband does that to me even. What are you doing this whole thing for, Mandy? Yeah, you can't do that. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to prove you wrong then.
I saw it on Instagram, the meme, and it says, if somebody says you can't do something, do it twice and take pictures.
Right? Yes. I'm going to adopt that. Do it twice and take pictures. Love it.
And sometimes that's the thing, isn't it? People think their reason has to be something that's like, you know, kind of like high and mighty. If your reason is, I'm going to prove someone wrong, that's a reason. If it's enough to drive forward and get your ass off the sofa, I don't care. It's like, what is your thing that's going to push you, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And, you know, sticking 2 fingers up to the doubters is a good enough reason for me.
Yeah. Oh, I don't do that. I just go.
Back on that toddler thing. I don't know.
Can you tell that my other job is working in childcare? Just a little bit.
I've got a little hint here and there. So what is, you know, if I said to you, and I know it's one of those questions you get asked that's a bit like, but literally with this kind of very grassroots, very kind of still the beginning of this journey, where do you want this to go? Like, how big? What is the big dream right now?
Okay, well, that's an easy question for me to answer, because I go back to the Guinness World Record ambition. So there are several records that you can go for, and the one that we are currently modelling our events on is called the most number of people skipping simultaneously at a base venue and online. Quite simply, that's what it is.
Yeah.
The Guinness World Record for that at the moment is 320 people. Fairly achievable, one would hope. So I'm hoping to get at least very close to that this year, and actually hoping to splash it out of the water, if I'm honest with you. But the ultimate aim is to go for, quite simply, the record that says the most number of people skipping simultaneously. And the difference between that is that you don't have to be online and connected. You just have to have lots of video proof that you then submit. The current record for that is just under 71,000 people.
Wow.
Okay. It's currently held by a Californian consortium of schools. They had 300 schools taking part. So approximately, 200 or 300 at each one. I can't do the mental maths that quick. But it's actually quite achievable. In my own home 3 counties, Norfolk, Suffolk and Cambridgeshire, we've got something like 1,000 schools in those areas. It sounds like a big number, but actually, and it is a big number. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is a big number. But when you break it down, actually, you've only got to liaise with 300 venues.
Absolutely.
And if I've got, a couple of regional managers covering different sections, then that makes it even easier to manage. And that's what I'm saying. Once you've got the model of the event, all you've got to do is copy that. And it's not that hard. Which is the beauty of it. But that's the big ambition. But I have come to realise that might take a couple of years to build up to. And that was one of the things that I was like, oh, really? Okay. Oh, let's just do one then. Let's just do one event with a few people, see how it goes. But it's brilliant though, because it means that I have a story to tell now. I have proof that it works. I have something that I can take to supporters, to potential sponsors, to corporates that might want to, gather their employees together and put on this event. I can say it works, and I can say it works with confidence. And I think that's the big difference this year.
Absolutely. And I totally agree with you. There's one thing having a great idea. It's another thing to actually start to actually make it happen and have proof. And I think that the thing that stops a lot of people in that space is that they want the perfection. They want the end result. It's like, if I'm going to get the proof, I'm going to do it. It's got to be like super successful and massive numbers and loads of money. No, it doesn't. It has to be a starting point, right?
Yeah.
You have to show, again, it's action in practice. You have to show that you're putting this and how it's going to work, and also that you're learning and it's a growth journey, right? So
absolutely.
That was crap. That's kind of we can sort that out. And it's that continual practice, and it's showing that it actually is something that can physically work.
Yes, exactly. And like I say, it's so easily transferable into different groups and different scenarios. So schools, so take a school scenario, for instance, and you need the students to be able to understand the concept of the event, which is a kind of get fit and with something that's enjoyable, that as a resource is low cost to the school, etc. But they then have to talk to their families, and they will support them and sponsor them to get fit and ready to take part in the event. But also there's going to be some leadership skills there where they can write some posters to, put up at their school, to talk to their teachers and persuade them to get involved, and basically just help kind of organise their own little event within their school, which they then again dial into the main venue on the big day. So not only are they contributing to the bigger cause of raising money for Cancer Research UK, they're getting all the individual benefits of physical well-being, a sense of achievement, emotional positivity, and all these kind of things that is hot on everybody's agenda. So you're going to get benefits from literally the individual right up to corporate wellness programs, which again is another whole discussion. But it just can cover so much with a really simple concept.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally. I love it. And I know that you are still building the team. I know that you are still kind of getting things together, and I know that there's so people obviously want to get involved in the event itself. That's great, and we'll talk about how that can happen, but also things that are on offer, aren't there?
Yes, exactly. And forgive me as I glance to my left, because I have a little list of things that I can share. So there is first of all, individuals, like you say, can easily get involved. We will be the sign up process will be launched really relatively quickly, so probably by the time people are listening to this, it will be available on our website. In the meantime, you can click on the website and it will say save your space, so you can get yourself on the mailing list. Groups, as we've said, groups can get together wherever you are. Workplace groups, church groups, community groups, school groups, you can get yourself together and sign up as a group. Corporations, as a business, you can hold an event at your premises, or you can support the event with a financial donation. This is actually great as a community social responsibility activity as well, because you're not only getting your employees involved, you're actually contributing something back to the wider community. So it's great. There's a whole raft of information I've got about that if anybody listening wants to learn more about that side of things. Obviously, there's the straightforward corporate sponsorship that will help with running costs and eventually build up to those Guinness World Record adjudication fees. Schools we've talked about, and the benefits to individuals in cardiovascular health, enhanced coordination, improved mental well-being, fostering a sense of pride and community spirit, all of these kind of things. But specifically getting involved, the key thing is simply spreading the word. Tell everybody you know and tell them to tell everybody that they know, because the sign up process is going to be really easy. You'll just click on the website, sign up for this event. There'll be a few questions to answer, pay a £6 registration fee, and that's it. You're in.
Yeah.
Straightforward as that. If anybody musically talented is listening, I would love to have a bespoke event piece of music. It only has to be about 2 minutes long, a little half-minute introduction, 1 minute of music where we all skip together, a little half-minute where we can run around the room doing high fives like magicians afterwards. So anybody musically talented want to help us out with that? That would be fabulous. Tech support. We need better tech connections on the big day. So for when people are dialing in to the main venue, we need a much more reliable and robust tech system. So if anybody can give me any advice or even provide that service, that would be fabulous. I've now got a couple of people helping me out with social media management and website creation, but again, I'm open to ideas and extra input on that. What else have we got? Think about whether you as a company could host an event. Have you got a venue, even if it's just for your own employees? Again, talk to me about that. We've got materials that you can use and posters that you can put up. And yeah, there are specific roles and titles within all of that again I can talk to anybody about if they want to send me an email or you know, contact me about that, right from social media ambassadors to regional leaders and coordinators. So yeah, to scale this up, we need to grow the team accordingly.
Absolutely. There's lots of opportunities and lots of people are looking for, you know, to really further their career and learn some skills and get on their CV.
Yeah.
Difference, like I say, there's lots of different ways people can get involved if you're watching this. So
yeah, absolutely.
And again, even if it's not for you, you may know somebody who it would be perfect for. So
yeah,
they're the message, absolutely. So ultimately, Mandy, if people want to find out more, they want to find out about the event in September, or they want to get in touch with you, I will put the links down here, but just to give it a shout out, where are people heading out?
Of course, yeah. So the website is basically your first port of call. So the website is very simply www.ropeforhope.com, and it's a number 4 in the middle. So as is on the screen probably somewhere. And on there is basically the nutshell of the event. It doesn't give every single detail at the moment, at least. It's a work in progress, being updated all the time. But you've got the London venue on there. You've got information about the sign-up fee on there. You've got links to our social media pages where you'll see a lot of me skipping. So you'll see, yes, with eventually I'll be putting on hints and tips on there as well. Like I say, I'm not an expert skipper by any means. There are dozens and dozens out there much more talented than I, but if you want to know the basics from Dear Little Old Me, I am putting up some basic tutorials on there about basic things like, did you know it makes a difference as to how long your rope is?
No.
So you need to make sure that the rope length is exactly the right length for you. Otherwise, you're going to be tripping up on it. It's going to be smacking you in the back of the head. You know, we don't want any of that, do we? We don't want it to be a danger sport. And hand position, you know, it's no use having your hands out at the side like this. They need to be down and it's as if you're going to put them in your pocket. They call it pocket position. So yeah, there's going to be, not yet, but there will be hints and tips about that to help people. If, like me, when I first started, you hadn't skipped since you were a teenager at high school, you might benefit from a few hints and tips like that to make sure you do everything safely. So yeah, first port of call, definitely the website. And on the website, there's a click here in the introduction that will take you to an email address, and all of those emails come directly to me anyway. So everything focuses on that website.
Wonderful. So yeah, I'll put it down here. So
yes,
they can have a look around. Like I say, if anyone's got any comments, thoughts, suggestions, anything, please reach out to Mandy. She's very open to having chats, as you said. So
yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. It's absolutely delightful to connect with you all. I can't wait to meet some of you. I'm coming to the conference in May, so I might bump into a few of your lovely listeners. So yeah, I very much look forward to that.
Fabulous. Yeah, definitely get involved, guys. We're here to, ProspHER is about helping people, not just ourselves. It's not all about us. We're here to support the community. We're here to support other amazing women doing amazing things. So if you can spare some time, spare some money, whatever you can, please do get involved with this. It's an amazing cause, and I would love to see as many people as possible jumping on that and supporting, and raising some amazing money for Cancer Research UK. So
yes.
But look, Mandy, thank you so much for your time today. Honestly, it's been a great chat, as I knew it would be, and may it go from strength to strength for you. Just thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
All right, guys, and I'll see you for the next one. Take care. Have a great day. Bye.